Right, I mucked up that last video, so let's start this again. As you can see, we've combed out, brushed out one. So I will tie on another one, even though that makes it an odd number, but I'll get to eventually. When you're tying them on, you just single knot them on. What I do is I just, as I'm pulling the knot, I kind of try and get everything centered as best as possible. It's not a big deal, but try. And you can listen to the crow while we do this. I just, again, single knot. I'll eyeball it and pull it tight. I find that groups of 8 sets of 3 are, you know, a good amount for brushing out. You don't want too much, or else you kind of get overwhelmed. And too little, you'll just be brushing out constantly. So find the good amount for you. It's, you know, it's not written in stone, certainly. Let me show you real quick how I made these. I wrapped them around my hand just a whole bunch of times. Pull it off, then take it and cut one side. That gives you a whole bunch of strands. And I just threw them in my bin. Oh, leaf. So to brush them out, I take one group, and you can try spraying your hair detangler on if you want. I haven't found it to be that useful. First thing I do is I kind of look at the ends. See, they're not perfect, far from it, but I kind of snip off the really high ones. Oops. There. Throw those scraps into the scrap bin. Then start out with my comb. Just start working the curls out, or the twists out. Well, what I do is I tend to start out by tying off a whole bunch up in bed at night, but I like to brush them out outside. It makes a big mess. You end up with all these little bitty fibers, and you really don't want to breathe them. I read one of the tutorials that the person was saying that they ended up with a dry cough due to it, and I also do woodworking, and I know how important ventilation is. So for your own health, I would recommend doing it outside in a bit of a breeze. If not, you know, wear a mask, because you do not want these in your lungs. They, you know, as a man-made fiber, they won't dissolve or anything. They're just kind of stuck there, and that's not good for you. And again, just working out the twists. You can see that it's starting to come apart nicely. Sometimes you'll have to really kind of get in there and work at an individual one, because, you know, this comb in particular, the teeth are fairly far apart, and it doesn't tend to grab them very well. Yeah. It's a dog comb, by the way. All of these are dog grooming implements. once it gets to about that stage, then I grab a coarse brush, which is now all tangled up in the yarn, and kind of start working through that. You're not actually breaking the fibers here. Think about like wool yarn. It's made out of sheep fur, so sheep fur isn't one long continuous strand throughout a whole skein of yarn. What yarn is a whole bunch of little strands. So you're just pulling out the ones that aren't really fastened down. You're probably breaking some too, but you know, for the most part, you're just separating them. What I have this here for, the sacrificial catalog, so I can do that, which I sometimes find is useful in getting these brushed out. Now this phase, see, I get the fine brush. I start working out the last of these little bits. Have it all brushed out. That's 8 sets of 3 all brushed out. So I will go and brush out the rest of these, and then I'll come back and we'll do some braiding.